morning, good evening, good afternoon, people of the internet. Welcome back. As promised, we were back with Saturday's video. 2 weeks in a row, building that consistency. We're going to keep this train going, though. And today, we're going to be briefly talking about the First Amendment and why this is important. And this kind of stems from the fact that, for some reason, Joe Rogan's in hot water because of some things that people have said on his podcast. Not statements he's made, but the fact that he's given a platform to other people. And this all kind of started with the Ethan Klein crap. He called him out, which is, ironic because once upon a time I think Ethan Klein was, this anti-establishment person. Now he's just a shill for all things that, you would expect from CNN. Much like the Young Turks, stuff like that. But they still get time to say what they want. But when Joe Rogan has someone on with dissenting opinions, it's, becomes the end of the world. And that's just not right. As First Amendment states, we speak freely. Basically, is what it protects. It's your freedom of speech to say what you want. Obviously, I think we've curtailed that a little bit in terms of like hate speech. We obviously don't really allow racism, which you can have your opinions on whether that's good or bad. But most people agree that we don't want that in our society, which is fine. But when it comes to presenting viewpoints that oppose each other, that's what you do want. You want that debate. You want that discourse, so you can either enhance your ideas or make someone, bring them to light in a sense of realizing why they were wrong. So with all these calls for shutting down Joe Rogan, like why? And it's not like he hasn't been known to be controversial in the past. I remember when he came out against the whole transgender female fighter thing, and that was a big deal. The internet blew up, but he's right. Men should not be beating women for money, and especially shouldn't be done live and televised. He has people on the show all the time that say do controversial things, right? He's had Alex Jones on several times. He's Alex Jones. He's the conspiracy theorist guy, tinfoil hat man. He's been right more times than I care to admit, but he also says some outlandish shit. But as an American, he still has his First Amendment rights. He has the right to say what the hell he wants to say, and he's allowed to be wrong, right? So when we sit here and we're going to talk about misinformation, particularly when it comes to COVID, well, the information out there it's not concrete. It's changed multiple times over the years. Look at Dr. Fauci. How many times has that man flip-flopped? And he's the expert. He's the one who's supposed to be on top of this. He's supposed to be the one we look to for certainty. And he's got it wrong over and over and over again. He's blatantly lied to the American people, but yet he's still platformed. So, if Joe Rogan wants to have on the doctor who basically invented or helped invent, the technology that went into vaccines, and he says that, something that people don't agree with, that's fine. I don't see an issue with that, because he may be right. Hell, he did Steve Bannon's podcast. He said that by taking these vaccines, we were just going to make the coronavirus worse. Here we are in Delta, right? So, I think his words were it's going to be more infectious, and he wasn't wrong about that. Yet now he's a kook. Like I said, Fauci was telling us don't get masks, and we still listen to that guy for some reason. There's lots of people out there who said things that we don't agree with, don't like. Look at Whoopi Goldberg this week. She's in hot water for her ignorant comments. I think that's the best way I can put it, right? Because Holocaust wasn't about race. Okay. It was about, white supremacy. That's the foundation of white supremacy right there. That's like, well, maybe not the foundation, but that is like the biggest example of it in world history. So I would definitely say that's a racial issue. And maybe she's just ignorant on the topic, or maybe those are her true beliefs. But she still has the right to say it. Do I think she should be canceled over it? No. I think that we should be in good graces, tell her why she's wrong, and let her come to light. We don't need to end her career over it. And just because Joe Rogan has someone that you don't agree with your opinions on, we don't need to end his show over it. And now I get why the mainstream media doesn't like him, because they're fucking failing. Yes, CNN over here, they can't go 5 minutes right now without a scandal. Chris Cuomo helping his brother out, and then you had Don Lemon. What would be a good way to put it? Colluding with Jesse Smollett, and what was the guy this week was banging his boss or some shit and didn't disclose it, and so he got ousted. Surprisingly, she's still there though. Don't forget that one. On top of all the other shit that goes on there, and they wonder why their credibility's faltering and why more people listen to Joe Rogan. He's good to listen to. He provides lots of different viewpoints. he gives a voice to people who might not otherwise have it. And he doesn't just stick to mainstream stuff, right? And when he brings on other people, other scientists, no one questions them. When he brings on Neil deGrasse Tyson, no one tells, oh well, that man doesn't know exactly what he's talking about when it comes to astrophysics. So can we really trust Joe Rogan's show on this one? No, I think that man's pretty fucking brilliant, and people don't think twice about it. Or when he brings on someone like Dr. Swan, she's the one who's talking about plastics and how they're killing testosterone, and basically you know making men infertile over the generation. I haven't heard anyone talk about how she was wrong about that, or when he brings on any other guest that is a doctorate or expert in their field. It's just this one guy for some reason. What is his name? Dr. Maloney or some shit like that. And this is what he did for his whole life. He's worked on vaccines his whole life. He worked with the CDC for most of his career until coronavirus, or not most of his career, but for a good part of his career, he worked with the CDC until this whole coronavirus thing happened, and where he is now, and he's getting thrown under the bus. So, do I agree with what he said? I haven't listened to the podcast. If I'm being honest, I don't know exactly what was said, so I can't make a determination there. What I can tell you is that he has a right to say it, and as a libertarian, I stand for that. That's fine. You have the right to be wrong. That's okay. That's okay by me. Let's leave him the fuck alone, guys. He didn't do anything wrong. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Go sit in your echo box and enjoy whatever bullshit you want to listen to. That's fine. But just because you don't like what someone else does doesn't mean you get to shout them down off the mountain. It's not how this works. It's not how it's ever worked. Thank you for your time. Y'all have a good day.